What's going on, people? Welcome to the LV Live Show. I am LV Live. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Once again, I want to thank all the new subscribers who have come by to my channel. It is truly, truly appreciated, right? But listen, let's get right into it. The New York Knicks lose a tough one at home tonight to the Charlotte Hornets, 125-114, ending their 4-game winning streak. Hey, listen, man, this was a tough game, right? You're playing against a playoff team, to me, who I feel the Knicks are just as good as, they beat them a couple of nights ago. But they lost a tough one tonight. I mean, it was a competitive game. But, when you're playing against a team like this who's hungry, who's in the playoffs, you're going to get their best shot all the time. So you got to get stops. You got to get rebounds. You got to be able to make some shots down the clutch, and the Knicks just couldn't do that. They had a big contribution from 4v8 tonight. He poured in 30. RJ had 25. Julius had 21. But it wasn't enough. Just Bridges just started cooking towards the end and scored the final 12 points of the Hornets. And nobody could keep LaMelo ball in front of him. Excuse me. They couldn't keep ball in front of him. He was doing what he wanted. Right? He's one of the bright young stars of the league. Of course, you guys know the Ball brothers and from Chino Hills, and he made his first All-Star team this year. So he's the goods. You know what I mean? So it's tough to stop him. And Bridges just looked like Bridges back when he killed us against, in the MLK game. Randall just can't guard him. He can't stop him at all. Bridges does what he wants. So it was a tough loss. I think, what hurt the Knicks tonight, believe it or not, when we started making our run to come back, IQ, pretty much, had the N1, pretty much started making our run, right? And then he takes IQ out. About 4 minutes left. Should have left IQ in. Whoever he was going to sub should sub someone different. But you got to keep IQ in when he's aggressive. I know right before he took IQ out, IQ pulled for 3 and missed it. And, he probably felt that, IQ was starting to cool down. No, you got to keep IQ in because he's the only one that can somehow, some way stay in front of Ball, right? Because Ball was doing what he wanted. He was getting to the paint. Once he breaks down the defense, he can go left corner or right corner. And that's what he was killing us from the threes. And, Bridges hit a couple. And then he throws down the middle to P.J. Washington, who was also playing well. And then Bridges cut into the basket. Had that monster windmill. That's tough. Once you penetrate and you break down the defense, what Ball does very well, it's very, very hard to stop that. It is. And so you need a quick guard who's agile, quick on his feet to stay in front of Ball. It's tough to do, but you got to have a guy who can do that. And, to me, the only people, the only players on the team that could do that, not stop him fully, but give him problems, is IQ and McBride. So, that's why I would have, chose to keep IQ in because IQ can make shots. He can put pressure on the defense. And also, too, he can kind of slow down Ball a little bit. So, and that's what hurt the Knicks towards the end, just penetrating and getting into Bridges. And Bridges just closed it out. He closed the show. Like a lot of great players supposed to do. So, that was the ball game right there. But, I love the Knicks fight. I love what I'm seeing from this team. I do think that they're going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to make a decision with Randall. And I'm not even speaking of his attitude. I'm not speaking of that. It's just how cohesive the Knicks are, right? When him and RJ are on the court, they're two ball-dominant players. And you can see there's no chemistry there. And so it hurts the team. And with RJ's rise into stardom, he's not deferring to Julius anymore. He's not. And he feels like, I'm just as good, if not better. And, I want to, take the bull by the horns and be the leader of the team. So, the ball stops whenever one of those guys get the ball in their hands, the offense doesn't flow. And you could see it. And that's when the turnovers happen. And it hurts the team. It definitely does. And so I think that's why they got to make a decision in regards to Julius. I mean, of course, on top of the other things I mentioned before in my last show. But just watching the team today, they look stagnant. They don't, the offense is, when both of those guys are in there, the offense isn't flowing. When he wasn't in there, and it's just RJ's on the court with IQ and, of course, Obi. And those guys, the team looks great because they're flowing, because Obi's constantly cutting. Guys aren't standing still. When Julius is in the game and RJ's in the game, guys are standing still because they're ball-dominant guys who pretty much go one-on-one, You can't have, they're basically the same player. You can't have those type of guys because that's what hurts the offense. And I think that's, you're starting to see that now, right? So the Knicks going to have to make a decision because I don't see them moving RJ. That's their number 3 pick. A couple of years back, he's younger and he has more upside. He's not going anywhere. So, that's what I think the Knicks have to do, to make a change. But, tough loss tonight, but I do love the fight. I do love the direction the team is going in. I still think guys are developing well. I love Sims' energy tonight. He looked good. Obi also, too. So we just got to continue to build on that and build with these young players, and I think the Knicks will be all right. All right, but listen, that's my show. I appreciate you guys coming by. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, people. All right? Also, too, please hit that bell icon to get all notifications on all my new shows. All right, I'm LV Live, and that's my show, and I'm out. Peace.